I mentioned earlier on that we've been going for 30 years supporting senior public sector IT managers in their work. So we've provided them with a range of services developed over many years, which encompass things like research, best practice guidelines, benchmarking services. We run events, peer networking opportunities, etc. So the full range of services that you'd expect a membership organisation to provide to its members. What we've been remiss at over many of those 30 years is actually creating engagements between our members and the community of suppliers that provide services and products to them. So I was brought on about 18 months ago now to build up a program of supplier engagements. Up until the point I joined, our relationships with suppliers consisted usually of saying, would you like to sponsor our annual conference? Can you give us a few £1,000s, please? And you can put your logo on the program, and that was about the extent of it. So we looked at what Socitm currently does for its members, and we decided to repurpose a number of those assets for the benefit of suppliers. And we know that our audience is quite a valuable commodity, if you want to call it a commodity. It's a well-informed, influential audience with quite a lot of money to spend, and if we can give you access to that and you can give value to our members, then that seems like a win-win situation. So we decided to develop this thing called the Supplier Partnership Programme, with the aim in mind of helping you to build long-term relationships within the sector, to understand what's happening within the sector, and to create commercial opportunities without it becoming an open selling arena. So this is how we did it. So we were looking at ways of connecting the audience, and not in a traditional kind of slightly adversarial client and vendor relationship. So we've created this range of 23 separate benefits and services as a starting point. And you'll see, if you've had a look through the brochure, there's a list at the back there that details all of the different member benefits. And this is a growing organic thing that we hope to expand through collaborations like this. And part of the point of us taking this out on the road is to talk to people who aren't currently engaged with the programme and find out if it's appropriate to your needs in terms of getting involved with our audience, and if not, what would you like to see added to it. So in terms of where we are at the moment, we look at areas like market intelligence, positioning, thought leadership, product development strategy, and networking opportunities. And most of our services sit within one of those 4 streams at the moment. We've imaginatively tiered it in gold, silver, and bronze partnership options. These are subject to change, but at the moment, most of our participants in the programme are at the upper end of the scale. So we have pretty much the 20 premium places of gold partners are taken by all the usual suspects, and you'll get one of those delightful logo-filled slides towards the end that shows you who we're currently working with. We work with a lot of silver partners. It says they're ideal for SMEs, but the feedback that we've had so far on this roadshow is that that's quite an expensive price point for SMEs that don't currently have any engagement with our constituents. So that's something that we're looking at. And the bronze level at 995, you don't get an awful lot for that. That's a toe in the water kind of thing. So we're looking at maybe bringing the entry level up slightly in terms of what you get, and reducing the price point on the silver level. But that's why we're here today, to get your feedback on that. What we look at in terms of our facilitation of this engagement with public sector senior management is that we are a participant in those discussions, and to a certain extent we can act as gatekeepers. So we're a trusted source. If we're introducing external providers into those conversations, it's because we trust them to engage in the right sort of conversations with our members. So effectively, we like to sell this as getting you on the guest list into these type of engagements. So this just basically positions some of the different product sets that we do within each of these areas. So market intelligence, that's largely research and publications that we produce on a periodic basis. We have several opportunities for branding and sponsoring events or publications that we do, distribution of white papers, etc. Lots and lots of networking opportunities, which we'll look at in more detail later on, but we run an extensive regional programme across the whole of the UK. We have 12 Socitm branch regions, all of which are open to engagements with suppliers, and there are opportunities to present and network and distribute marketing collateral at those. And we have mass marketing communications channels, so we have a membership database that you can communicate with. You can utilise our social media channels. We run a number of events that we can you can sponsor, or we can design events in conjunction with our partners that are specifically there to promote the services that you're offering, as long as they are answering a demand from our community. And lastly, we have a number of inside collaborations available with both our Socitm experts and also our Socitm senior members that are there to inform you, that we can put together proposition testing groups, so kind of like focus groups to advise you on your product development strategy or your marketing strategy. And you can utilize our senior staff as kind of private consultants or advisors at any stage during your engagements with our audience. Okay, so very briefly, there really aren't that many slides, so we'll run through this because I want to get to the bit at the end where we get your feedback, which is really valuable for us to capture when we shape this moving forward. So market intelligence, we produce a number of sector-specific pieces of research every year. We have a subscription service called Insight, and we produce a number of insight reports that are highly valued by our members, highly valued by our private sector partners in terms of giving them the lowdown on what's happening in public sector at the moment. We also produce more regular policy briefings. We produce monthly news briefings that update you on all the important goings on in the local authority sector. And we also, because we've been doing benchmarking of local authorities in terms of their spend, things like governance processes, user satisfaction, a number of KPIs over 20 years now, we've got an extremely valuable repository of benchmarking data on what the current trends and historical trends are in the public sector, which we can share with our private sector partners as well. Positioning and thought leadership, so we have a number of channels for that, so you get to carry Socitm partner branding on all of your communications with our members and any literature that you produce. I mentioned earlier on that we produce co-branded pieces of research, so an example of that was the bottom left-hand corner. We published in April a IT Trends survey report on the adoption of cloud computing services in the local authority sector, and that was in conjunction with Civica, who wrote a companion piece that was incorporated into the finished article. It's a great way to reach out to the audience and demonstrate your own capabilities in a particular technology area. And also we produce, on the right-hand side, quarterly members magazine, which we can carry not just advertising, but editorial pieces and promotional pieces on our members as well. And we also distribute white papers, as long as they're of social utility and not just straight marketing collateral, to our membership as well. Networking, so we have on the right-hand side here, our next major national event is the annual conference in October. We run 2 conferences a year, one in spring, one in the autumn. They are extremely valuable events. We expect over 500 local authority delegates to be in attendance at our 2-day conference in October. You also have the opportunity to network through our social media channels. So you can use our Twitter feed. We have a LinkedIn group, and also we can post video up to our YouTube channel of your material, as long as, again, it's got some community value to it rather than just advertising material. And potentially the most valuable resource in terms of networking, and the one that most of our partners are keen to engage with, are our 12 UK regions, who each one runs approximately 3 or 4 annual events per year. And there are opportunities for suppliers not just to attend those as part of this programme, but for additional fees on top of the membership subscriptions. You're able to go in and make presentations around the themes that are the major topics for that region. So it's a great opportunity to network and find out what's going on in a particular region, but it's also, again, a great shop window if you want to talk about something like digital capability, or if you look at on our website, our current calendar of events, we've got a huge array of different suppliers, everything from Microsoft down to small ID and authentication management software producers that are presenting at these meetings. So one of the major reasons we're doing this is we want to extend the reach of the programme out to the SME marketplace and not just include the usual large companies. So product development and marketing strategy, you may recognise one or two of those people along the top there. Andy, who's sitting over there, is looking particularly cosmic in that photo. But some of these people are our presidents and vice presidents. They actually have serious day jobs as heads of ICT or CIOs in local authorities. So their day job is understanding exactly everything that's going on in the service delivery space, particularly with regard to the technology front. And some of these are members of the internal Socitm team. But in general, they've all got a long history of working in the sector. They're extremely well connected. They know pretty much everything that's going on in public sector IT. And we make this grouping available to our supplier community as a resource to help inform your approach to the sector and to help make sure you get the messaging right and that you're connecting with our members in the correct way. So you can use them as part of the programme. This is that lovely slide I alluded to earlier on. So you can see a lot of the usual suspects on there, but we are working with some much smaller companies who have specialised solutions like Protocol, who have an IT policy management system, Tricerion, who do identity and authentication. Pretty small businesses, but they've looked at partnership with Socitm as an ideal conduit into the public sector, particularly the local authority marketplace, when they're trying to establish some foothold in there.